Cancelo. Fernandinho passes it back to Nathan Ake, and the former Bournemouth defender moves it across now to Laporte. Here's Rodri playing it back to Aymeric Laporte. Scored, of course, the all-important winner last week as Manchester City got a 1-0 victory in the Carabao Cup final against Tottenham Hotspur. The first piece of silverware back in the Manchester City trophy cabinet this season, but they've got eyes on two major other trophies as well, of course, not just the Premier League title here, which they chased today, but also the Champions League, which they'll resume, of course, 2-1 up from their first leg of the semi-final next midweek. Cancelo can't keep a pass from Rodri and on the far side, so Palace have a throw-in. Palace, in the early stages of this match, just sitting back, trying to soak up what City have, and sitting deep and looking to counter with the pace they've got in the forward positions, particularly the likes of Eze and Zaha, as Aguero can't control it. Riedewald knocks it back now, and the ball is hit forward by Ward in the direction of Benteke. Nods it down towards Zaha, who plays it back into midfield. Milivojevic, nice little flick pass now to link up with Andros Townsend, and then the ball comes out off Eze, I think, who's been challenged there by a City player, and it will be a throw-in to the visitors. Cancelo, who switched across from left back to right back today, will take it. Benjamin Mendy's back in the City lineup today. This one is thrown in towards Gabriel Jesus, who tries to lay off towards Aguero, but he can't get it, and it's now smacked away by the Palace defence. One for Benteke to chase. Two City defenders get in each other's way. The ball almost bounces to Fernandinho, but it's now picked up by Townsend. Wide it goes, crossed in low by Mitchell, but stopped on the edge of the box by Rodri. Then Ake plays it away to Sterling, who's surrounded by two defenders. He manages to get away from Ward and swaps passes there with Fernandinho, and then gets brought down by Ward, who tracked him all the way, and he gives away a free kick, and City have possession inside their own half. Lots been said about Raheem Sterling these past few days. Obviously doesn't seem to be in Pep Guardiola's strongest starting 11 at the moment. Clearly his being omitted from the midweek game in Paris would indicate that, but he's still got a lot to offer, and a fired up Raheem Sterling today could certainly make a big difference in this game, as Fernandinho moves it wide to the right now for Cancelo inside the Palace half. He tries to come away from Mitchell, who manages to win the challenge, and then gets what's he done there, Mitchell? Mitchell swung an arm at Cancelo, who's gone down holding his head. In fact, it was Wilfried Zaha who's done that, and the referee's blown the whistle. Craig Pawson gives the free kick to Manchester City. Zaha beats him in the challenge, and he just sort of brushed him off, but if the referee's going to blow for those kind of incidents, he stuck his hand out, to be fair. Perhaps he doesn't need to do that, looking at the replay, Wilfried Zaha, but we have seen some strange decisions this season, and VAR doesn't seem to have rectified them either when there's been quite accidental sort of handoffs from players. That one may have been a little bit more debatable. Anyway, free kick to City inside the Palace half. They're going to try and hold the line on the edge of the box here as it's crossed in deep towards the far post and headed down and away and behind for a throw-in by Joel Ward. Ward's hurt his back in jumping for that one, and the referee's given the free kick now in favour of Palace, which Rodri's not too pleased about. That looked like an accidental contact as well between Rodri and Ward. There was no offside there. So what's the referee giving the free kick for? Very little just incidental contact between Ward and Rodri, and thankfully the referee hasn't given a free kick, which would have been silly. It is just going to be a throw-in to Palace. Sometimes hard to tell without the audio up, knowing whether the referee's blown his whistle or not. Throwing it down the line towards Benteke. He heads it back in field, but it's collected now by Rodri, who plays it back into his own half for Nathan Ake to gather. And he spreads it across to Cancelo and gets it back now. Palace in a 4-3-3 out of possession, but Benteke in the centre with Zaha out to the left-hand side. Eze is just behind him. And now Fernandinho sends a forward pass, which is intercepted by Ward. And he finds Townsend, who's playing off the right at the moment. And he uses his left foot to dribble and tries to take on Mendy. And he goes pretty well here. And Mendy just gets a long leg out and manages to shepherd it away from him and finds Laporte. He goes back to Nathan Ake. We've played 5 minutes of this contest so far. No chances at either end of any note, and it's still goalless as Mendy takes it and knocks it back to Aymeric Laporte, the former Athletic Bilbao man. Finds Fernandinho at the base of the midfield. He again looks to the right and finds Cancelo, whose first touch is abysmal, and that goes straight out for a Palace throw. Palace not in great form coming into this one. Home form has been a little bit dodgy recently. They've lost back-to-back league games for the 6th time this season. And they haven't got a great record against Manchester City either, really. They've won just 2 of 23 games against sides top of the table. And both those victories came against Chelsea 3 years apart. And they lost their last such game against the team that were top of the table in that match, which was Liverpool, when they beat them 7-0 back in December. I remember that game. As now there's a foul on Jesus by Riedewald, which gives City a free kick. Free kick which they play back to Nathan Ake. Now Laporte goes with a crossfield switch, but Mitchell heads it clear. Comes back towards the halfway line. Cancelo finds Fernandinho. There's good movement from the City players, but Palace are matching them stride for stride as it's worked wide to the right again. Cancelo pops it back in towards Jesus, who tries to lay it off, but straight out of play. And City, it's fair to say, haven't clicked yet. So Palace throw in. They've crept a few yards forward down the left, and Mitchell throws it down the line towards Benteke. Guided inside, looking for Zaha, who now moves it out to the right now for Ward. Ward about 30 yards out, crosses deep to the far post again, looking for Zaha, who tries to win the header against Cancelo. It comes back to Eze. Now Riedewald with a shot into the back of Rodri, balloons up in the air. Rodri and other players trying to fight for it, but a nice cushion header back by Cancelo reaches Ederson. And he rolls it out, looking to get the counter-attack moving here with Jesus. But then it's stopped. Ferran Torres it is actually who knocks it back now to Cancelo. And everyone's regained their defensive positions for Palace, so City will have to break them down. Aguero, little wall pass back to Rodri, and the Spaniard moves it wide to Mendy. Now back to Aguero. Then looking to link up with Sterling, but Palace move it away. Then City snap it back up with Fernandinho, out wide to Torres once more. And he turns inside, tries to link up with a 1-2, doesn't quite come off. Aguero, though, does get it and retrieves possession, and now moves away from Eze, linking up with Sterling, back to the England international. Sterling chips it back towards Aguero, onto the chest, had to move away from the defender, though, and then plays it back to the corner of the box for Sterling. Little touch and lay off to Rodri. Back wide to the left here for Mendy. Touch there from Townsend, who's appealing for the throw-in off Mendy, and he doesn't get the decision from the referee. Craig Pawson adamant that came off Townsend last. So City have the throw. They take it quickly and play it back out to Nathan Ake in the centre circle. Here's Aymeric Laporte once more. Now he finds Sterling in the hole. Laid off to Aguero, who's pulled off as well. Aguero to the edge of the box, dribbling. And they gets the lucky deflection out towards Mendy. Mendy feints to cross, comes back on his right foot. Deep ball to the back post. Chance for a volley here. It's deflected just wide. The shot came from Ferran Torres. It might have been goal bound, but the deflection took it wide for a corner. Good play from City. Patient build up down the left-hand side. Mendy then with a right-footed ball to the back post. Looking on the replay, it looked as though Torres' shot might have been going off target anyway before the deflection. So a corner might have been the best they could hope for there. And Ferran Torres will take it himself. Former Valencia man, had a good first season in English football. I think it might be his second season now, actually. Here comes the corner, whipped into the near post and volleyed away very, very purposefully there by the Palace defence. Reaches Zaha. Nice first touch on the halfway line. He tries to set up a counter-attack here. It might come off for Palace. They've got pace. They've got Benteke there as well. He plays it out towards Townsend. Townsend now up against the defender Cancelo. Cuts inside. Can he get the cross in towards the back post? Chance for Benteke, and he gets the header in. It goes wide. I think he jumped too early there, the Belgian. Christian Benteke. He was involved in the counter-attack before it came to him. But I think he just didn't quite time his jump, got up too early and flicked the header wide. Early stages at Selhurst Park in this Premier League game. It's still Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. Fairly even start so far. City dominating possession, but not really hurting Palace. They've earned one corner so far after a deflected shot from Torres went behind from a volley. But at the other end, Palace arguably have had the better chance. It came on a counter-attack after that corner was cleared, and Andros Townsend crossed left-footed deep to the back post. It was a high-hanging one, and Christian Benteke got up to head it, possibly not quite timing his jump, the Belgian, headed it just harmlessly away from goal, and it remains Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. That after about 10 minutes. So it's City once more in possession with Aguero on the edge of the penalty area. Aguero shifting it out to the right now and inside rather to Sterling. Sterling looking to link up with Jesus, but Ward is there and knocks it away. Back to the halfway line, but nobody chasing it for Palace. And they'll begin again, City, in their quest for the points that could take them even further clear of Manchester United at the top of the Premier League table. Currently 10 points the gap, having played the same number of games. Big goal difference advantage as well to Pep Guardiola's men. It will be like an extra point at this stage of the season. 16 goals are going to be tough to make up for United over the course of the next 5 games. City have it now. Aguero on the half turn. He's got options left and right. Looks towards Torres on the right. He slips as it comes to him. Mitchell tries to get a challenge in, but he's back to his feet. However, he handballed it, Ferran Torres. The referee has given the free kick against him. Accidental handball as he fell, but he did control the ball with it. Palace trying to snaffle it back on the halfway line after wasting that free kick. Comes back to Sterling. Sterling looks for the run of Torres once more, but it's headed away in the heart of the defence there by the Palace centre-back Scott Dan. Dan and Kouyaté, the 2 central defenders. Not really mentioned them so far. Possibly a sign of how well Palace have done to stifle City in the midfield area before they get to the back 4. Although City have had 75% possession so far. 12.5 minutes in. Goes back to Nathan Ake. And then here's Fernandinho with a long diagonal out towards Jesus, who chests it down and gathers and then gets faced up now towards the Palace defence. Plays it inside to Rodri. Back now to Laporte. Rodri again. Playing it in towards Jesus' feet. Laid off back to Laporte. Patient build-up from City. Got Aguero linking up play again, but Riedewald and Eze close ranks, and Eze can now play a safe ball out towards Townsend, who's backing in. Maybe used his hand there. The referee said play on. Townsend bounces off a would-be challenge from Jesus and moves it out to the left. Here's Zaha. He's got Mitchell steaming up outside him. Zaha plays it to the full-back, and then he gets it back now 30 yards out. Eze links up again. Square to Milojevic. The Serbian is driven backwards, though, by good pressure from Ferran Torres. And now Eze's challenged there by Fernandinho. The ball breaks to Torres. He looks up and tries to deliver an early ball. It's aimed in the direction of Jesus. Great first touch from the Brazilian. Palace defence a little bit stretched now as it goes wide to Sterling. Sterling on the edge of the box, cutting in. Right-footed high shot over the crossbar and into the stands behind the goal. Disappointing end to what was City's most promising move so far, really, after the good challenge by Fernandinho. Raheem Sterling, though, a little bit off with his radar at the moment, as well, his recent goal-scoring record would be testament to, really. Pep Guardiola head in hands after that finish from Sterling. He's some way down the list of Premier League top scorers at the moment, Raheem Sterling, headed by Harry Kane. City's top scorer is actually Ilkay Gundogan with 12 in the Premier League. And then Mahrez second with 9, alongside Sterling also with 9. Here comes Palace, though, with Benteke lining up a shot from range, and it's a pile driver straight into the hands of Ederson. City try and burst forward now, finding Aguero inside his own half, having to work really hard to get into this game, but they've lost it again. This time Townsend won it back. Riedewald back to Milojevic. Milojevic probing, looking to play one out towards Zaha. It's a great ball to him. Zaha now up against Cancelo. Can he skin him? Can he get a shot away? He's left him on his feet, but then he's just miscontrolled it slightly, and Rodri helped out Fernandinho and Cancelo. Cancelo was slipping there, though, as Zaha's dancing feet had him off balance. However, the shot never came in from the Ivorian. Former England international, of course. Played under Roy Hodgson for England all those years ago. His club manager. He's been trying to get out of Palace, though, hasn't he, for the past couple of summers? You wonder whether that move will ever come to fruition for Wilfried Zaha. Will he ever join a sort of top 6 level club? As City have it now. I think there has been interest from Manchester City in the past in Wilfried Zaha. But they've moved in other directions now, seemingly. Aguero. Just a simple 5-yard pass back to Rodri. And now Laporte drives a left-footed ball out towards the right flank, where it's controlled brilliantly by Cancelo. Then inside to Rodri. And now Aguero again, 25 yards out on his right foot. Pass was telegraphed, though. Kouyaté comes away with it. And Kouyaté now looking for an option to go ahead of him. One of them is Townsend, who's driving along and trying to beat Mendy for pace. Mendy's got good recovery speed. Cross from Townsend is a woeful one behind goal. And all the way out for a goal kick. And he puts his arm up to recognise that wasn't his best effort on his weaker right foot. Andros Townsend. It was a good run. Mendy just got goal side and forced him into that cross rather than driving towards goal. And by doing so on his weaker foot. He won that battle, really, Benjamin Mendy. So played almost 17 minutes of this Premier League game now, where it's still goalless at Selhurst Park in the sunshine on this Saturday lunchtime. Gorgeous conditions to play in by the look of things. Not a breath of wind. Ball over the top looking for Sterling. And Kouyaté's missed it. Sterling on his right foot. Can he finish? Sterling's going to walk this one in. No. Great last-ditch challenge from Mitchell. Stops him from getting the shot away. It looked like he'd done all the hard work. He'd beaten 2 men. Got it onto his right foot. And Mitchell just snapped into a challenge to concede a corner rather than a goal. Looking at the replay, was onside. It was a good ball over the top. And poor defending from Kouyaté and Ward. But then Mitchell made amends for his 2 other defenders there, being unable to make the challenge, and stopped Sterling from just walking it into the back of the net. Good play from City, though. Like I say, Sterling hasn't really been at his goal-scoring best this season, with a return of just 9 compared to 20, 17 and 18 in his 3 previous seasons. And it's from a similar amount of games as well. He's played 27 games this season. 24 of them starts in the Premier League and only 9 goals. City have it again, though, with Fernandinho. Mendy knocks it back to Laporte. Wide again to Benjamin Mendy. The Frenchman finds easy ball to Rodri. Fernandinho now tries to get some impetus into this City move, but again he goes square to Rodri. Former Atletico Madrid player finds Laporte. Now Sterling, corner of the box, left-hand side. Right-footed ball into Rodri's feet, and then moved again to Fernandinho and Cancelo. Cancelo got a bit isolated out there. Tackle came in from Zaha, but it came off the Palace man, so it's going to be a City throw level with the edge of the Palace box. They find Aguero. Guardiola on his feet now, watching this. Good turn from Torres. Cross comes in low to the near post. Gaeta claims it and can pick it up. Incisive move there involving Ferran Torres and Sergio Aguero for a moment. As the cameras focus in on the 2 managers prowling the sidelines there, as Palace try and win it in midfield. Eze plays it back to Mitchell, who stabs it down the line. Then Fernandinho gets the ball, plays it simply back to a teammate. And City get on the front foot again with Ake and Laporte. Laporte now looks towards the channel, but then stops the ball and plays it back inside to Nathan Ake. He finds Fernandinho again. So often the start of so many good moves for City. Rodri moves it wide to Cancelo. Back to Fernandinho again. City just recycling possession, keeping it moving left and then right, and then back to the right again. It's currently with Laporte. High swinging ball out towards Cancelo again. He knocks it first time back to Fernandinho in 10 yards of space. Then he goes with a cross that's headed away at the near post. Then headed back into the danger area by Mendy, but volleyed clear by Kouyaté. Up in the air it goes. Nodded down by Rodri, who's in there ahead of Benteke. And City have it again. Now Jesus takes over, 30 yards out on his right foot. But he's got 3 Palace players around him, and it's Townsend who comes away with it. He plays the ball over the top looking for Zaha's run, but it's too close to the keeper. Ederson off his line to sweep up. Stops the danger, and then plays a risky ball towards his fullback, which almost interested Zaha, but City get away with it. Coming up to the midpoint of the first half, and it's still goalless at Selhurst Park. City's best chance so far for Raheem Sterling about 5 minutes ago, and they might have another one here with Aguero. Aguero playing it towards the far post. It might drop to Jesus, and it's smacked away by Dan in the end, as the Palace defence was breached but then recovered. City still pressing here, but then given away on the edge of their box, on the edge of the Palace box before Eze is fouled as he tried to wriggle away. No yellow card for Fernandinho, but he makes so many of those type of challenges that you wouldn't be surprised if he got one in the end today, the City captain, but it is just a free kick. Mendy showing some good penetration, linking up there with Jesus and Aguero. Ball wouldn't quite sit for Jesus, and it was eventually scrambled away by the Palace defence moments ago before that foul on Eze. This one's going to be taken by Scott Dann, the furthest back of the outfield Palace players. And it looks like he's going to aim it towards Christian Benteke as all the players congest over to that quarter of the field. It does go in that general direction, but it's massively overhit. Goes straight behind for a goal kick to Manchester City. Midway through the first half at Selhurst Park, it's still Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. City have had a pretty good chance, though, set up by Aymeric Laporte's ball over the top into the left-hand channel. Raheem Sterling timed his run in behind, beating the offside trap, and when he got into the box, there was a couple of loose challenges that he managed to evade. One from Kouyaté, who missed a header, and one from Scott Dann. I think it was Joel Ward, actually, who missed a second challenge. Dann was floundering as well before eventually Tyrick Mitchell got a vital challenge in to stop Sterling getting a shot away, and it went behind for a corner. Palace haven't offered too much on the counter-attack so far, barring one cross from Townsend which flicked off the head of Benteke, and it remains Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. And City doing some defending now in the right back position, and Zaha has fouled Cancelo, and he disputes the decision of Craig Pawson there. It remains Palace 0, Manchester City 0. Zaha's got to be careful. He's had a bit of a talking to already from this referee, and his continual reactions to decisions that go against him and his team, I'm sure, will be noted. Rodri has it now for City. He's given away and goes straight out for a throw to Palace. So Palace start the day in 13th. They could actually move up. Well, no, I suppose one problem for them is goal difference. So they're not going to be moving up any positions even if they do win this game, which would be a big shock anyway. Ward wins a good challenge against Sterling and finds Eze near the halfway line, out towards Zaha, and back now to Mitchell. Here's Milivojevic, quickly closed down by Jesus, and City have stolen it back again. Fernandinho fizzed into Sterling to Jesus' feet, and City move it safely across the back line now. Laporte goes back to Nathan Ake, and now played back to the Dutchman, who sends a long ball forward in the direction of Jesus off the right. Mitchell gets the header in, and it's nodded away for a throw-in. Still City on the attack with Jesus stopped by Mitchell, who's had a good game so far. Plays it down the line, and it's knocked away by Cancelo. Midway through the first half at Selhurst Park, it's still Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. City have had one sniff of goal though, and it was Raheem Sterling, who's got a great goal-scoring record against Palace, who couldn't take the opportunity created by Aymeric Laporte's ball over the top into the left-hand channel. Sterling held his run and beat the offside trap with a scamper away into the box. Kouyaté missed a header, then Ward fell to the ground as it opened up for Sterling to finally bury the ball behind Gaeta, but a last-ditch challenge from Tyrick Mitchell stopped him getting the shot away, and it went behind for a corner. Chance wasted. At the other end, Palace have created very little, barring one cross from Townsend that was headed harmlessly wide by Christian Benteke, and it remains Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. Palace on the counter-attack here, but Zaha is offside, I believe, and that will not please him at all. And now at the other end, Sterling has been sent sprawling. Wants a free kick. Don't think he's going to get it. It's going to be a throw into Palace from close by the corner flag right-hand side. Taken by Ward. Down the line, it's headed on by Benteke. Falls pretty safely, though, for Fernandinho. Intercepted the pass from Rodri, though, did Eze. And now Townsend bursts clear over the halfway line. Getting away from Mendy. He's up against Laporte now. Goes back looking for help, and he's got it arriving now from Eze. Ward goes beyond him. Eze ignores that run and plays it back inside to Dan. Here's Riedewald. Riedewald now ferrying it out to the left for Mitchell. Mitchell down the line for Zaha. Zaha feels a bit of contact on his back and knocks it back to Dan once more. Better possession here from Palace with Milojevic. They're not wasting the ball like they have done, sometimes trying to play it too quickly out of the back. They're being a bit more patient now, Palace. Kouyaté gets a touch. Milojevic again from Dan, rather. Dan into Riedewald's feet. He plays it back to Milojevic, then on towards Benteke. Laid off back to Riedewald. Much better this from Palace. Now Zaha. 40 yards out on his right foot. Playing it back inside patiently to Milojevic. He finds Eze. Back to Ward. There's nobody out right. Yes, there is. Townsend is there. Then it's inside to Eze. Back to Townsend. Lovely precision passing here. Townsend finds Ward. Ward's in the penalty area here. Can he cross? Plays it, cuts it back, and it's just scrambled off the line. And then Benteke, shots denied at the near post for a corner. Benteke on the turn. Saved by a sprawling Ederson to keep it 0-0. Brilliant play from Palace, though. They cut City open. They cut them to ribbons there with about 15 passes. And as the attempted cutback from Ward fell kindly for Benteke, his back was to goal. And he got the shot in, but Ederson poured it away at the near post. Could have been a big moment in the game there. Ederson has done his job in stopping Benteke from converting. Here comes the corner, aimed towards the back post. Everybody misses it. Zaha will keep it in on the far side and tries to get another cross in once more. Up against Aguero, buys himself half a yard, goes back actually towards Mitchell. Mitchell dwelt on the ball, lost it to Jesus, but he's being fouled according to the referee. The Brazilian doesn't agree. It's a free kick to Palace. I think I said the referee was Craig Pawson before. I must correct that actually. The referee today is David Coote, who's been on the Premier League list all season, done quite a few VAR games as well. So it's going to be a Palace free kick for that foul by Jesus inside the City half. And Roy Hodgson watches on. I'm sure they've got some kind of training ground plan here for this free kick. In a deep area, Eze to take it. Former QPR man just stutters in his approach to the ball. Then goes back and now chips it in. High towards the far corner of the box. Dan trying to rise. Might have used his arm to head that one back in. Then it's Riedewald tries to get a shot away, and it's over the bar. And going to be a goal kick. Thought Dan actually pushed the City defender there. And I'm not sure if that shot from Riedewald had gone in, whether VAR would have allowed that, because it looked like a pretty clear foul to me that wasn't picked up by the referee. It is going to be a goal kick. Or is the referee given a free kick here? Not sure. Anyway, City's possession. And the two central defenders play it between themselves. Half an hour gone in this one. And still no goals. City haven't really worked Gaiti as yet, although they got one pretty good sighted goal, which Sterling never actually got the shot away. Risky at the back, but Ake deals with it. Finds Fernandinho. Over to the right now. Cancelo goes a long ball forward into the channel. Jesus couldn't take it all the way through to Gaita. Bowled out now to Tyrick Mitchell, who skirts aside one challenge and keeps on going. Cuts it back onto his left foot. He's got Zaha ahead of him. Zaha with the safe pass. He looks for Eze instead. Eze trying to wriggle away from Fernandinho. Good challenge came in on him from Ake, who knocks it away. And Eze stays down, holding his ankle. He looks to be in some pain here. City being asked to put the ball out, but they carry on with Sterling. Finding Rodri. Hopefully Eze is going to be all right. Palace players ideally would like City to put the ball out here so he can get some treatment, but it's not going to be the case. Eze's back on his feet and trotting back to get into a defensive position now. City have it on the halfway line with Fernandinho. Cancelo goes back to the Brazilian, formerly of Shakhtar Donetsk. He'll be due a testimonial at City soon, won't he? He's been such a fixture in the midfield, particularly under Pep Guardiola, but even before that. I think his arrival certainly predates Guardiola. Now, still on the left here, City working it with Mendy and Laporte. He goes back to Ake now. And now Fernandinho. Forward into Jesus' feet, laid off, and then Milivojevic knocks it forward towards Zaha. Zaha tries to take on Fernandinho. Fernandinho was always winning that battle, and just too strong for the winger. Keeps City going forward. Sterling back to the halfway line now to gather, and plays a simple ball out towards Mendy. Makes a run ahead of him. Goes back towards Laporte though. Sterling again. Laporte wide to Mendy, nutmegs Townsend, does really well, the Frenchman, then squares it into Rodri's feet. Rodri, good ball out to the right hand side for Cancelo. Could be a shooting opportunity here for City, but given away and eventually knocked away by Palace, but only as far as Fernandinho. Seems to be in the right place at the right time all the time, as this time headed away by Dan, and it will reach Zaha. Fernandinho sticking to him like glue, but Zaha gets a throw in off Fernandinho's inside leg there, I think. So 5 attempts each, 2 on target for Palace, none on target for City so far. Best chance for Palace, that Benteke close range swivel and shot, which was saved by Ederson at his near post. Also a long ranger from Benteke that was gobbled up by Ederson a little bit before that as well. Those are the 2 on target shots so far. And Palace have a throw in midway inside the City half. Obviously the 8 changes made by Pep Guardiola today, reflecting the importance of the Champions League semi-finals to City as a football club. But they are chasing the Premier League title as well, but with a 10-point gap, maybe feeling that they don't need to play their best players. The likes of Riyad Mahrez has been such a big difference maker for them this season. Kevin De Bruyne who played a big role in midweek, of course, for that equaliser as well, missing out. Now City, chance to counter-attack with Aguero. Quickly out towards Sterling, edge of the box. Good challenge from Ward. Comes back to Sterling. Sterling tries to play it forward again. Finds Aguero. Aguero outside the penalty area now, forced away by Palace's defence. And Kouyaté concedes a corner, which I think Palace will be pretty happy with. City take the throw in. It goes back to Rodri. And he moves it all the way back to the halfway line and Nathan Ake, who's the back man. Ake advancing to the edge of the box, plays it in towards the penalty area, headed clear by Ward, comes back to Jesus, edge of the area, but a clearance comes in from Mitchell. Still falls to City though with Rodri. 10 minutes to half time. City knocking on the door now with Fernandinho's pass out towards Aguero. Good first touch, tries to move it inside the defender, got crowded out and it's slammed away by Kouyaté. Flicked on Benteke, doesn't reach Zaha. City have it again with Laporte. Now Rodri advancing into the Palace half. Going cross-field now in the search of Cancelo and some space out there. Torres is even further wide. Taking on the Eagles' back line. Knocks it back to Cancelo. And City just patiently playing it back and probing and trying to tire out the Palace midfield. Staying very disciplined though, the Eagles. Here's Aguero, first time in towards Sterling. Sterling thinking about the shot, goes back to Aguero, 25 yards out, on his right foot, didn't strike it, falls back to him, and then the shot is blocked by Dan. Still City pressing though. Fernandinho chipping it into the box, could be a chance here for, oh, it's a brilliant first time finish from Gabriel Jesus, and he's volleyed in, but he's offside. Fernandinho's cross to his fellow Brazilian was pinpoint, so was the finish, but he was just a fraction offside, and it won't count. Linesman's flag went up to stop the celebrations in their tracks. Just watching the replay. Oh, yeah. He's a fraction offside. Sterling was well offside, but even Jesus was a fraction offside, so that's why it won't count. Approaching half-time at Selhurst Park, where still Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0, but the visitors have had the ball in the back of the net. It came from a pinpoint Fernandinho cross that was volleyed in left-footed by his fellow countryman Gabriel Jesus beyond Gait from about 10 yards out. However, the linesman's flag went up, and replays have suggested that the striker was a fraction offside when he made his run, so a correct decision was arrived at. Prior to that, Gaita had been completely not needed, really. City hadn't tested him at all. At the other end, though, Ederson has made a couple of saves, one from a long-range Benteke pile driver and one from a much more close-range swivel and turn, which he smuggled behind for a corner. Approaching half-time, Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. But yes, goal disallowed there. And looking at the replay, he's half a yard offside. VAR replay has just confirmed that on that move. So Palace have a throw now, which they lob in towards Benteke, trying to work the corner. He manages to turn it inside, but outnumbered there by City defenders. Ake finds Cancelo. He's closed down quickly by Mitchell, and it comes off the defender for a throw. Long ball forward from City. Seems to have came off Townsend's arm there, but nobody appealed for it for City. Townsend trying to thread it through, only finds Fernandinho. Now City will break. Over to the left with Mendy. Palace midfielders trying to scurry back. Good ball forward from Mendy. Might come the way of Aguero. Aguero setting up a chance here for Ferran Torres. Come back to Aguero. Aguero gets the shot away. He was off balance and hit it well wide. Falls in a heap in the box as he was just given a bit of a nudge there as he was taking the shot. Never a penalty, and no appeals for City 4-1 either. But a stumbling shot from Aguero that was off target as he cut inside. Milivojevic was the player applying the pressure, and that's why Aguero's shot was not going to trouble Gaita on this occasion. So about 7 minutes to half-time. Milivojevic, the Palace skipper, just trying to G his players up here as Gaita takes the goal kick. Benteke rises early. It goes over everyone's head and then picked up by Riedewald, who finds Eze down the line to Zaha, and then Riedewald makes a good run ahead of both of them. Riedewald cuts it back to the edge of the box, and Eze thinking about the shot here, left-footed, strikes it low across the face of the keeper, and it's wide of target. Good move again from Palace. It was incisive, it was quick, and it was decisive as well once it came to Eberechi Eze. Switched it from left foot back to right foot, and the left foot shot in the end across the face of goal and wide by about 4 or 5 yards of Ederson's far post. So what Palace have done, they've done pretty well on the counter-attack, but they've had to soak up a lot of pressure and a lot of City possession in the meantimes. Visitors have it again here with Laporte. Not as much movement ahead of him this time, so he has to go back inside to Ake. I think City maybe just taking a bit of a breather here. Fernandinho recognises that and goes back rather than forward. Laporte again works it to the left-hand side for Benjamin Mendy. Now Sterling. Slight miscontrol, but he manages to recover it. Plays it back to Rodri. Drifted ball out to the right. Zaha couldn't gather it. Cancelo does. Goes back towards Fernandinho. The Portuguese has it again. A little outside the boot ball into the channel for Ferran Torres. Torres with a cross shot. Oh, that was nearly converted inside the penalty area by Jesus. It was a snapshot, really, that wasn't expected from that kind of angle by Ferran Torres. Lovely ball from Cancelo to pick him out. Torres, snapshot across the face of goal. Gaeta may have just put off the advancing Jesus there to prevent him having a tap-in. 5 minutes to the interval. City, rather like Crystal Palace, just coming alive in moments like that. As Ward takes a throw in by the corner flag to get it away. Only as far as Rodri, though. And he finds Ake. Cancelo looks out to the right where Torres is on his own, the only City player out there. But it's gone back left again to Laporte. Now square to Nathan Ake. Fernandinho. Right-hand side of the two pivots in this Guardiola lineup today. Now with Laporte again. Into Rodri's feet. Trying to break the lines here, but Palace holding firm. Mendy. Inside towards Sterling. Knocked back towards Laporte. Little one-touch passes. Finds Sterling again in a bit of space. To the edge of the box he goes. Works it wide to Mendy. Mendy's cross delivered towards the far post. Headed away by Dan. Drops to Rodri now. 25 yards out. Will he take the shot? Unlikely. Goes to the high left-footed cross, which is overhit towards the back post and behind for a goal kick. And he throws his head up in disgust with himself there. Rodrigo, as it says on the back of his shirt. The Spanish international. He's not sure if he's going to be an automatic selection for the Spanish Euro 2020 Euro 2020 squad. It's 2021, isn't it? But obviously it's the Euro 2020 finals that are going to be played this summer across a number of different venues. But Rodri has been very much in the City squad, the Spain squad of late, as has Eric Garcia, his City colleague, although he doesn't get a game for Pep Guardiola. And of course Ferran Torres also in that Spain squad, the most recent of them for the World Cup qualifiers in March. Palace have won a free kick though inside the City half as we approach the interval, and again they'll try and chip this one in, I think, and look for a second ball to try and get a shot in. Benteke might be one of the target men here. Dan is up as well, as is Riedewald. Townsend plays it in. He's got too much on that one though, and it goes straight through to Ederson, who can pick it up. And he thought about the quick distribution, but then kept it into hand as the clock ticks towards 43 minutes in the first half of this Premier League contest. The draw would be, I think, satisfactory for Palace. They're just going to try and pick up as many points as they can get, towards 50, which would be a pretty decent return for them. Not really been in relegation trouble this season, although they've had one or two shocking results. They've always managed to pick up enough points to keep themselves out of harm's way. The fact that there have been sort of three teams that have been filling those relegation positions for the bulk of the second half of the season has made it quite clear and straightforward for teams like Palace, as Mendy gets it left hand side back to Sterling, and now Rodri back from Cancelo to Ake and Fernandinho. Everyone getting a touch here for City, but they're going further and further back now. Rodri now moves it to the left here for Mendy. Mendy looks up, plays a good ball to Aguero. Aguero linking up with Sterling. Sterling onto his right foot. Can he get a shot away just before half-time? No. Good challenge came in from Eberechi Eze, and he knocks it away up towards Benteke, beaten by Fernandinho. Now Townsend, good touch from him. Townsend holds it up. He wanted the ball forward, finds Benteke, he gets the wall pass back to the Englishman. Townsend on his left foot down the left-hand side, cuts back and finds the supporting Mitchell. Mitchell takes it, holds it up, back to Townsend. Well done from those two. They were very isolated, but they managed to keep possession, and now Eze has it centrally. Strokes it across to Ward as we enter the final minute of the first half. There might be a minute of stoppage time too, but I wouldn't think there'd be more than that. Milojevic out to the right now. Oh, Eze stumbled as he tried to volley it inside, and it beats him like a spinning cricket ball, and it goes out for a throw-in. And that might be the end of the action in the first half with about 30 seconds to go. But City have taken the throw-in and find Mendy. And he stumbles now and gives it straight away back to Eze. Should be cleared here by Kouyaté. Up to the halfway line and brought down nicely by Benteke. Townsend looking for Zaha out to the left-hand side. He's got Cancelo for company. Zaha looks to try and take him on, but Cancelo shuts the door on him, and it goes out for a throw-in. Referee checks his watch. There is going to be 1 minute of stoppage time only, so maybe just enough time for one more attack. Palace have the ball in hand with Mitchell about to take a throw-in close to the edge of the City penalty area. Not much movement for him, though, to try and sling this one into. He goes to Zaha. Bit of ball juggling from him. Back to Mitchell. Now Milovievic's got the ball ran underneath his foot, though, and Fernandinho comes away with it. He finds Sterling. Sterling's pace takes him over the halfway line, but Palace have got bodies back. And Sterling has to play it back to Rodri. Switched out to the right-hand side now, onto the chest of Jesus. Now Ferran Torres. Back to João Cancelo. Rodri again. Probing on the edge of the box, brought down by Benteke. Referee said no free kick, and Palace have it now as they try and launch one last counter-attack through Riedewald. Zaha makes a good run. Zaha trying to get in behind, but Ferran Torres got a good challenge in and put it behind for a throw-in, and that should be half-time. Don't think there'll be enough time to play on. It's half-time at Selhurst Park. Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. City's best chance, Raheem Sterling just dwelling in the penalty area and drawing a challenge from Tyrick Mitchell, which prevented the shot from getting in. Half-time at Selhurst Park. Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. The Premier League leaders thought they'd scored when Fernandinho picked out Gabriel Jesus with a volley that beat Gaeta, but he was just a fraction offside. That came after Palace had a couple of good opportunities. One of them fell to Christian Benteke with a shot on the turn that was smuggled behind at close range by Ederson. Also a couple of chances for City and Raheem Sterling, but he never got his shot away. Doesn't look to be in great goal-scoring form. Palace do look a threat on the counter-attack and had one such effort blocked just before half-time. It's at the break. Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. Half-time at Selhurst Park. Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. The Premier League leaders thought they'd scored when Fernandinho picked out Gabriel Jesus with a volley that beat Gaeta, but he was just a fraction offside. That came after Palace had a couple of good opportunities. One of them fell to Christian Benteke with a shot on the turn that was smuggled behind at close range by Ederson. Also a couple of chances for City and Raheem Sterling, but he never got his shot away. Doesn't look to be in great goal-scoring form. Palace do look a threat on the counter-attack and had one such effort blocked just before half-time. It's at the break. Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. Half-time at Selhurst Park. Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. The Premier League leaders thought they'd scored when Fernandinho picked out Gabriel Jesus with a volley that beat Gaeta, but he was just a fraction offside. That came after Palace had a couple of good opportunities. One of them fell to Christian Benteke with a shot on the turn that was smuggled behind at close range by Ederson. Also a couple of chances for City and Raheem Sterling, but he never got his shot away. Doesn't look to be in great goal-scoring form. Palace do look a threat on the counter-attack and had one such effort blocked just before half-time. It's at the break. Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. Half-time at Selhurst Park. Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. The Premier League leaders thought they'd scored when Fernandinho picked out Gabriel Jesus with a volley that beat Gaeta, but he was just a fraction offside. That came after Palace had a couple of good opportunities. One of them fell to Christian Benteke with a shot on the turn that was smuggled behind at close range by Ederson. Also a couple of chances for City and Raheem Sterling, but he never got his shot away. Doesn't look to be in great goal-scoring form. Palace do look a threat on the counter-attack and had one such effort blocked just before half-time. It's at the break. Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. Half-time at Selhurst Park. Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. The Premier League leaders thought they'd scored when Fernandinho picked out Gabriel Jesus with a volley that beat Gaeta, but he was just a fraction offside. That came after Palace had a couple of good opportunities. One of them fell to Christian Benteke with a shot on the turn that was smuggled behind at close range by Ederson. Also a couple of chances for City and Raheem Sterling, but he never got his shot away. Doesn't look to be in great goal-scoring form. Palace do look a threat on the counter-attack and had one such effort blocked just before half-time. It's at the break. Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. Half-time at Selhurst Park. Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. The Premier League leaders thought they'd scored when Fernandinho picked out Gabriel Jesus with a volley that beat Gaeta, but he was just a fraction offside. That came after Palace had a couple of good opportunities. One of them fell to Christian Benteke with a shot on the turn that was smuggled behind at close range by Ederson. Also a couple of chances for City and Raheem Sterling, but he never got his shot away. Doesn't look to be in great goal-scoring form. Palace do look a threat on the counter-attack and had one such effort blocked just before half-time. It's at the break. Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. Half-time at Selhurst Park, Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. The Premier League leaders thought they'd scored when Fernandinho picked out Gabriel Jesus with a volley that beat Gaeta, but he was just a fraction offside. That came after Palace had a couple of good opportunities. One of them fell to Christian Benteke with a shot on the turn that was smuggled behind at close range by Ederson. Also a couple of chances for City and Raheem Sterling, but he never got his shot away. Doesn't look to be in great goal-scoring form. Palace do look a threat on the counter-attack and had one such effort blocked just before half-time. It's at the break. Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. Half-time at Selhurst Park, Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. The Premier League leaders thought they'd scored when Fernandinho picked out Gabriel Jesus with a volley that beat Gaeta, but he was just a fraction offside. That came after Palace had a couple of good opportunities. One of them fell to Christian Benteke with a shot on the turn that was smuggled behind at close range by Ederson. Also a couple of chances for City and Raheem Sterling, but he never got his shot away. Doesn't look to be in great goal-scoring form. Palace do look a threat on the counter-attack and had one such effort blocked just before half-time. It's at the break. Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. Half-time at Selhurst Park, Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. The Premier League leaders thought they'd scored when Fernandinho picked out Gabriel Jesus with a volley that beat Gaeta, but he was just a fraction offside. That came after Palace had a couple of good opportunities. One of them fell to Christian Benteke with a shot on the turn that was smuggled behind at close range by Ederson. Also a couple of chances for City and Raheem Sterling, but he never got his shot away. Doesn't look to be in great goal-scoring form. Palace do look a threat on the counter-attack and had one such effort blocked just before half-time. It's at the break. Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. Half-time at Selhurst Park, Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. The Premier League leaders thought they'd scored when Fernandinho picked out Gabriel Jesus with a volley that beat Gaeta, but he was just a fraction offside. That came after Palace had a couple of good opportunities. One of them fell to Christian Benteke with a shot on the turn that was smuggled behind at close range by Ederson. Also a couple of chances for City and Raheem Sterling, but he never got his shot away. Doesn't look to be in great goal-scoring form. Palace do look a threat on the counter-attack and had one such effort blocked just before half-time. It's at the break. Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. Half-time at Selhurst Park, Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. The Premier League leaders thought they'd scored when Fernandinho picked out Gabriel Jesus with a volley that beat Gaeta, but he was just a fraction offside. That came after Palace had a couple of good opportunities. One of them fell to Christian Benteke with a shot on the turn that was smuggled behind at close range by Ederson. Also a couple of chances for City and Raheem Sterling, but he never got his shot away. Doesn't look to be in great goal-scoring form. Palace do look a threat on the counter-attack and had one such effort blocked just before half-time. It's at the break. Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. Half-time at Selhurst Park, Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. The Premier League leaders thought they'd scored when Fernandinho picked out Gabriel Jesus with a volley that beat Gaeta, but he was just a fraction offside. That came after Palace had a couple of good opportunities. One of them fell to Christian Benteke with a shot on the turn that was smuggled behind at close range by Ederson. Also a couple of chances for City and Raheem Sterling, but he never got his shot away. Doesn't look to be in great goal-scoring form. Palace do look a threat on the counter-attack and had one such effort blocked just before half-time. It's at the break. Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. Half-time at Selhurst Park, Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. The Premier League leaders thought they'd scored when Fernandinho picked out Gabriel Jesus with a volley that beat Gaeta, but he was just a fraction offside. That came after Palace had a couple of good opportunities. One of them fell to Christian Benteke with a shot on the turn that was smuggled behind at close range by Ederson. Also a couple of chances for City and Raheem Sterling, but he never got his shot away. Doesn't look to be in great goal-scoring form. Palace do look a threat on the counter-attack and had one such effort blocked just before half-time. It's at the break. Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. Half-time at Selhurst Park, Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. The Premier League leaders thought they'd scored when Fernandinho picked out Gabriel Jesus with a volley that beat Gaeta, but he was just a fraction offside. That came after Palace had a couple of good opportunities. One of them fell to Christian Benteke with a shot on the turn that was smuggled behind at close range by Ederson. Also a couple of chances for City and Raheem Sterling, but he never got his shot away. Doesn't look to be in great goal-scoring form. Palace do look a threat on the counter-attack and had one such effort blocked just before half-time. It's at the break. Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. Half-time at Selhurst Park, Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. The Premier League leaders thought they'd scored when Fernandinho picked out Gabriel Jesus with a volley that beat Gaeta, but he was just a fraction offside. That came after Palace had a couple of good opportunities. One of them fell to Christian Benteke with a shot on the turn that was smuggled behind at close range by Ederson. Also a couple of chances for City and Raheem Sterling, but he never got his shot away. Doesn't look to be in great goal-scoring form. Palace do look a threat on the counter-attack and had one such effort blocked just before half-time. It's at the break. Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. Half-time at Selhurst Park, Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. The Premier League leaders thought they'd scored when Fernandinho picked out Gabriel Jesus with a volley that beat Gaeta, but he was just a fraction offside. That came after Palace had a couple of good opportunities. One of them fell to Christian Benteke with a shot on the turn that was smuggled behind at close range by Ederson. Also a couple of chances for City and Raheem Sterling, but he never got his shot away. Doesn't look to be in great goal-scoring form. Palace do look a threat on the counter-attack and had one such effort blocked just before half-time. It's at the break. Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. Half-time at Selhurst Park, Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. The Premier League leaders thought they'd scored when Fernandinho picked out Gabriel Jesus with a volley that beat Gaeta, but he was just a fraction offside. That came after Palace had a couple of good opportunities. One of them fell to Christian Benteke with a shot on the turn that was smuggled behind at close range by Ederson. Also a couple of chances for City and Raheem Sterling, but he never got his shot away. Doesn't look to be in great goal-scoring form. Palace do look a threat on the counter-attack and had one such effort blocked just before half-time. It's at the break. Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. Half-time at Selhurst Park, Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. The Premier League leaders thought they'd scored when Fernandinho picked out Gabriel Jesus with a volley that beat Gaeta, but he was just a fraction offside. That came after Palace had a couple of good opportunities. One of them fell to Christian Benteke with a shot on the turn that was smuggled behind at close range by Ederson. Also a couple of chances for City and Raheem Sterling, but he never got his shot away. Doesn't look to be in great goal-scoring form. Palace do look a threat on the counter-attack and had one such effort blocked just before half-time. It's at the break. Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. Half-time at Selhurst Park, Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. The Premier League leaders thought they'd scored when Fernandinho picked out Gabriel Jesus with a volley that beat Gaeta, but he was just a fraction offside. That came after Palace had a couple of good opportunities. One of them fell to Christian Benteke with a shot on the turn that was smuggled behind at close range by Ederson. Also a couple of chances for City and Raheem Sterling, but he never got his shot away. Doesn't look to be in great goal-scoring form. Palace do look a threat on the counter-attack and had one such effort blocked just before half-time. It's at the break. Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. Half-time at Selhurst Park, Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. The Premier League leaders thought they'd scored when Fernandinho picked out Gabriel Jesus with a volley that beat Gaeta, but he was just a fraction offside. That came after Palace had a couple of good opportunities. One of them fell to Christian Benteke with a shot on the turn that was smuggled behind at close range by Ederson. Also a couple of chances for City and Raheem Sterling, but he never got his shot away. Doesn't look to be in great goal-scoring form. Palace do look a threat on the counter-attack and had one such effort blocked just before half-time. It's at the break. Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. Half-time at Selhurst Park, Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. The Premier League leaders thought they'd scored when Fernandinho picked out Gabriel Jesus with a volley that beat Gaeta, but he was just a fraction offside. That came after Palace had a couple of good opportunities. One of them fell to Christian Benteke with a shot on the turn that was smuggled behind at close range by Ederson. Also a couple of chances for City and Raheem Sterling, but he never got his shot away. Doesn't look to be in great goal-scoring form. Palace do look a threat on the counter-attack and had one such effort blocked just before half-time. It's at the break. Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. Half-time at Selhurst Park, Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. The Premier League leaders thought they'd scored when Fernandinho picked out Gabriel Jesus with a volley that beat Gaeta, but he was just a fraction offside. That came after Palace had a couple of good opportunities. One of them fell to Christian Benteke with a shot on the turn that was smuggled behind at close range by Ederson. Also a couple of chances for City and Raheem Sterling, but he never got his shot away. Doesn't look to be in great goal-scoring form. Palace do look a threat on the counter-attack and had one such effort blocked just before half-time. It's at the break. Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. Half-time at Selhurst Park, Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. The Premier League leaders thought they'd scored when Fernandinho picked out Gabriel Jesus with a volley that beat Gaeta, but he was just a fraction offside. That came after Palace had a couple of good opportunities. One of them fell to Christian Benteke with a shot on the turn that was smuggled behind at close range by Ederson. Also a couple of chances for City and Raheem Sterling, but he never got his shot away. Doesn't look to be in great goal-scoring form. Palace do look a threat on the counter-attack and had one such effort blocked just before half-time. It's at the break. Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. Half-time at Selhurst Park, Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. The Premier League leaders thought they'd scored when Fernandinho picked out Gabriel Jesus with a volley that beat Gaeta, but he was just a fraction offside. That came after Palace had a couple of good opportunities. One of them fell to Christian Benteke with a shot on the turn that was smuggled behind at close range by Ederson. Also a couple of chances for City and Raheem Sterling, but he never got his shot away. Doesn't look to be in great goal-scoring form. Palace do look a threat on the counter-attack and had one such effort blocked just before half-time. It's at the break. Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. Half-time at Selhurst Park, Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. The Premier League leaders thought they'd scored when Fernandinho picked out Gabriel Jesus with a volley that beat Gaeta, but he was just a fraction offside. That came after Palace had a couple of good opportunities. One of them fell to Christian Benteke with a shot on the turn that was smuggled behind at close range by Ederson. Also a couple of chances for City and Raheem Sterling, but he never got his shot away. Doesn't look to be in great goal-scoring form. Palace do look a threat on the counter-attack and had one such effort blocked just before half-time. It's at the break. Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. Half-time at Selhurst Park, Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. The Premier League leaders thought they'd scored when Fernandinho picked out Gabriel Jesus with a volley that beat Gaeta, but he was just a fraction offside. That came after Palace had a couple of good opportunities. One of them fell to Christian Benteke with a shot on the turn that was smuggled behind at close range by Ederson. Also a couple of chances for City and Raheem Sterling, but he never got his shot away. Doesn't look to be in great goal-scoring form. Palace do look a threat on the counter-attack and had one such effort blocked just before half-time. It's at the break. Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. Half-time at Selhurst Park, Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. The Premier League leaders thought they'd scored when Fernandinho picked out Gabriel Jesus with a volley that beat Gaeta, but he was just a fraction offside. That came after Palace had a couple of good opportunities. One of them fell to Christian Benteke with a shot on the turn that was smuggled behind at close range by Ederson. Also a couple of chances for City and Raheem Sterling, but he never got his shot away. Doesn't look to be in great goal-scoring form. Palace do look a threat on the counter-attack and had one such effort blocked just before half-time. It's at the break. Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. Half-time at Selhurst Park, Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. The Premier League leaders thought they'd scored when Fernandinho picked out Gabriel Jesus with a volley that beat Gaeta, but he was just a fraction offside. That came after Palace had a couple of good opportunities. One of them fell to Christian Benteke with a shot on the turn that was smuggled behind at close range by Ederson. Also a couple of chances for City and Raheem Sterling, but he never got his shot away. Doesn't look to be in great goal-scoring form. Palace do look a threat on the counter-attack and had one such effort blocked just before half-time. It's at the break. Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. Half-time at Selhurst Park, Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. The Premier League leaders thought they'd scored when Fernandinho picked out Gabriel Jesus with a volley that beat Gaeta, but he was just a fraction offside. That came after Palace had a couple of good opportunities. One of them fell to Christian Benteke with a shot on the turn that was smuggled behind at close range by Ederson. Also a couple of chances for City and Raheem Sterling, but he never got his shot away. Doesn't look to be in great goal-scoring form. Palace do look a threat on the counter-attack and had one such effort blocked just before half-time. It's at the break. Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. Half-time at Selhurst Park, Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. The Premier League leaders thought they'd scored when Fernandinho picked out Gabriel Jesus with a volley that beat Gaeta, but he was just a fraction offside. That came after Palace had a couple of good opportunities. One of them fell to Christian Benteke with a shot on the turn that was smuggled behind at close range by Ederson. Also a couple of chances for City and Raheem Sterling, but he never got his shot away. Doesn't look to be in great goal-scoring form. Palace do look a threat on the counter-attack and had one such effort blocked just before half-time. It's at the break. Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. Half-time at Selhurst Park, Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. The Premier League leaders thought they'd scored when Fernandinho picked out Gabriel Jesus with a volley that beat Gaeta, but he was just a fraction offside. That came after Palace had a couple of good opportunities. One of them fell to Christian Benteke with a shot on the turn that was smuggled behind at close range by Ederson. Also a couple of chances for City and Raheem Sterling, but he never got his shot away. Doesn't look to be in great goal-scoring form. Palace do look a threat on the counter-attack and had one such effort blocked just before half-time. It's at the break. Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. Half-time at Selhurst Park, Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. The Premier League leaders thought they'd scored when Fernandinho picked out Gabriel Jesus with a volley that beat Gaeta, but he was just a fraction offside. That came after Palace had a couple of good opportunities. One of them fell to Christian Benteke with a shot on the turn that was smuggled behind at close range by Ederson. Also a couple of chances for City and Raheem Sterling, but he never got his shot away. Doesn't look to be in great goal-scoring form. Palace do look a threat on the counter-attack and had one such effort blocked just before half-time. Well, welcome back. Second half just underway at Selhurst Park. City's socially distanced substitutes just were on camera there, and there's so much to choose from for Pep Guardiola if he does want to change things up in the second half. His side are, well, they're very much in a game at the moment, 0-0. They haven't been able to find the breakthrough, and at the moment the front pairing of Aguero and Jesus looks a little bit rusty, possibly. Sterling also hasn't shown great goal-scoring form so far in the game, and it may well be that the likes of Phil Foden, Kevin De Bruyne, and even Riyad Mahrez might be required to try and bring City the conclusion they require, which would be another win towards their next Premier League title. They have the ball down the right now with João Cancelo going back to Fernandinho, who tries to switch it across to Jesus, peeling away to the left side of the box onto his right foot, falls down in the penalty area, no penalty, no contact really from Ward, who moves it clear to Eze. Eze rides one challenge, finds Townsend, goes back to Eze. And then he shakes off the attentions of Jesus, goes back to Kouyaté. Milivojevic, nice turn, brought down by Rodri, who fell for the dummy. And it's going to be a free kick to Palace on the edge of their own penalty area. No changes for either coach at half-time. Options on both benches, really, for managers to change things up. And, well, for Palace, they've actually got probably more strike power, sort of pure strike power on their substitutes bench than City today, with City going with the two strikers from the start. Palace have Jean-Philippe Mateta, Jordan Ayew, and who else have they got on the bench? One other striker as well, whose name just escapes me. Michy Batshuayi. So, yeah, arguably more strikers on the bench for Palace and Roy Hodgson. As Milivojevic loses a 50-50 to Fernandinho, Riedewald nips in next and gets it up towards Zaha, but he's defeated by Cancelo, who's had a good game against him so far. Played back to Laporte, and now Ake inside his own penalty area. Risky ball inside to Rodri, but it's delivered with accuracy. Now Fernandinho in 20 yards of space, chips it forward, looking for the run of Sterling. Sterling's pace might get him in behind, tracked all the way though by Ward, who does well. And then Dan finds Kouyaté, back to the Senegalese player, and he tries to work it down the right, but his pass intercepted. And then it's forced off the body of Jesus for what should be a Palace throw. Right in front of the dugouts. Jesus not happy with that decision going against him. And in terms of his own goal-scoring form this season, he's been a little bit shy of the sort of 15-goal mark. As we noted before, City's top goal-scorer this season is a midfielder, Ilkay Gundogan, with 12. Gabriel Jesus has got 8. Now, Palace on the edge of the box with Zaha. Zaha can't get past Cancelo again, but the support... Oh, Eze fell over. And that gives Torres a chance now to drive away and get City on the attack. Torres still going. Gets brought down by Kouyaté. Referee sees the foul, gives the free kick. Kouyaté might be in the book here for that challenge. David Coote reaches to his pocket and produces the yellow card for Cheikhou Kouyaté. Torres very direct with his running. And he was looking up as he evaded one challenge. He was brought down with a second. Now, I'm not sure if it is Kouyaté or if it's another player who's been booked there. Kouyaté's was a second challenge. There was one just before that. It was Milivojevic, and maybe he was the player booked, actually. And just confirmation coming through that it was Milivojevic rather than Torres who got the yellow card. Kouyaté's foul was the one that ended the run, but Milivojevic was the one that earned the yellow. Now, Ederson has come all the way out of his goal to complain about something here. He's come 60 yards out of his goal into the Palace half, which was a little bit needless. Anyway, he's gone back. City free kick to be taken by Cancelo by the look of things. And sent in towards the Palace box for a bit of a jostle on the far post, but never quite reaches the sweet spot, that free kick. And so they'll try again here, Cancelo. This time he goes square to Fernandinho. Palace defensively standing firm at the moment, although they've had one or two scares. Long ball from Ederson up towards Torres, who takes it down nicely by the corner flag, coming in field and linking up with João Cancelo. Back to Fernandinho. Movement ahead of him, but it's gone back towards Cancelo. Down the line finds Ferran Torres, inside to Fernandinho. Nice triangular passing here. Short ball to Jesus, who comes off the front. Back towards Torres. They're working a good situation here. Fizzed back in towards Cancelo, shooting range. Trying to link up with Jesus on the edge of the box, but Palace get it away. Jesus then fouls Milivojevic and gives Palace a free kick. And there's a bit of argy-bargy there with the Brazilian, not giving the ball back. Eze plays it back now to Scott Dan. Dan goes channel ball, which is mopped up nicely by Rodri, who sends it infield to Fernandinho. Now Aguero on the half turn, picking up pace towards the edge of the box, rides one challenge, rolls it out to the left to Mendy. Now Sterling on that left flank, on his right foot, finding Aguero. 25 yards out, ball chipped into the penalty area, and quickly off his line together was Gaeta. Not had a great deal to do, Gaeta. The one shot that beat him was offside, so wouldn't have counted. Or didn't count, I should say. And now Gaeta kicks this one from his hands, long towards Benteke. Beaten in the air by Ake. Hooked away by Fernandinho. Aguero never came back from an offside position. Early stages of the second half at Selhurst Park, where it's Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. No great action to report so far, but one yellow card, in fact the first of the game, awarded to Luka Milivojevic as he tried to stop a counter-attack from Ferran Torres. Torres very direct in his running from the halfway line. He rode the challenge of Milivojevic, then got brought down by Kouyaté, but the referee David Coote had the yellow card out for the Serbian Palace captain. Really, Palace have not threatened at all in this second half and hardly had the ball either. But Sergio Aguero, although he's out there and he looks a little bit like his old self, he hasn't had that old finishing touch. And he's only scored one Premier League goal this season, so he'll be looking desperately to try and get in some finishing positions in the second half. It remains Palace 0, Palace 0, Manchester City 0. as it goes wide to Mendy. Back to Fernandinho once more. Fernandinho tries a crossfield switch out towards the right, and Cancelo is pushed up. Little nutmeg pass from him, but it's seized upon by Mitchell, who clears his lines. Rodri will retrieve and sends it back towards Aymeric Laporte on the halfway line. He jogs forward. Palace still very deep. Fernandinho on the ball, pushing them even further back with the ball into the penalty area. Great delivery to the back post, and ball off the line from Scott Dann from a brilliant attempted finish from Ferran Torres. Torres chested it down, lifted it over the keeper. Scott Dann got back to head it over the crossbar. Early stages of the second half at Selhurst Park. It's still Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0, but Scott Dann has just made a very important header from underneath his own crossbar. As the corner comes in from City. Whipped in, headed away by Ward, up in the air. Still not cleared by Palace, and now eventually will be by Mitchell. Back towards Mendy. Mendy jostling for possession, gives it away. And Benteke tries to move it up towards Eze. Counter-attack here from Palace. They've got plenty of pace. Eze looks up, and now he's got two City defenders around him. Still going Eberechi Eze, but to the corner flag. Knocks it back to Mitchell. Mitchell on the left foot opens up for him to advance and look to play a cross in. Tries to take on Cancelo. He's not let anybody beat him today, João Cancelo. And it goes back towards Eze. He goes all the way back to the halfway line. And now they'll play it all the way back to goalkeeper Vicente Gaita. Flicked on by Benteke. Rather loose back pass from Cancelo, but Ederson off his line to volley clear back into the Palace half. And one that Torres will run onto. He's got Mitchell for company. Mitchell wins that duel and plays it down the line to Eberechi Eze. A bit more space opening up here for Palace on the counter-attack. Milojevic carries it forward and then loses it in a challenge to Fernandinho. Cancelo gets tackled by Milojevic, then gives it away inside to Riedewald, who's lost it to Jesus, and as Jesus now drives forward for City. It's end-to-end a little bit now, out towards Sterling on the left. Sterling holds it up, Mendy runs past him, and then Sterling gives it away and tries to ride Zaha in a tackle. Zaha gets no change out of Fernandinho, but he does get a free kick from the earlier challenge by Sterling. There's a bit of feeling in this now. Early stages of the second half at Selhurst Park, where it's still Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. City have had a good moment though. Fernandinho's ball into the penalty area, chested down by Ferran Torres, who lifted it over the keeper, but as Gaita was stranded, his centre-back Scott Dann got back from underneath the crossbar, headed it behind for a corner, and from the in-swinging ball in, Palace eventually got it away. Palace are sitting very deep in this second half, and it allows City a bit more space in the midfield area to pick passes out and get through them, but it also is allowing Palace to play on the counter-attack with some effect as well. Tariq Mitchell is doing a great shift down the left-hand side, but so too is João Cancelo, the City right-back, who stopped anything that Wilfried Zaha's tried, and Zaha's now wandered across to the other flank to try and get some more change out of Benjamin Mendy. Early stages of the second half, it's still Palace 0, Manchester City 0. As Palace take the free kick and try and play in Townsend, but he was given no chance to try and catch up to that one by the corner flag, and it goes behind for a goal kick. So City jogged the ball out from the goal kick. And now Nathan Ake to Rodri. Mendy knocks it back to the Spaniard. Ake again over the halfway line. Square to Fernandinho. Out wide, Cancelo. Back to the Brazilian. Not a great pass back to the veteran though. City substitutes haven't yet really warmed up. Now just getting one or two to take their training jackets off and put the bibs on, so might be some action on the bench shortly. Crossed in towards the penalty area, taken by Aguero, volley towards goal. It's a brilliant finish from Sergio Aguero. That is absolutely world class from the Argentinian. The ball was fizzed into him, he took it in stride and smashed it with the toe poke, really, beyond Gaeta at the near post to make it Manchester City, well, to make it Palace 0, Manchester City 1. Well, the substitutes for Manchester City were just about to warm up when Sergio Aguero has produced a world-class finish to put the Premier League leaders 1-0 up. It all came down the left-hand side. Laporte's ball out to Mendy. Mendy fizzed it into Aguero, took it brilliantly on his first touch inside the penalty area and lashed it home with seemingly a toe poke from about 12 yards out beyond Gaeta at the near post. It's only Sergio Aguero's second Premier League goal of the season and his first start since April the 3rd. He's made it Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 1. Yeah, brilliant from Aguero. And it comes, like I say, just as the Manchester City substitutes were warming up. As Aguero takes it again and lifts it in towards the feet of Jesus, back towards Sterling, looking for Aguero again. Still might drop towards Torres, who slides it beyond the goalkeeper from at the edge of the penalty area to make it 2-0. 2 goals in 2 minutes. Ferran Torres with this one. And seemingly now the game is taking a big switch towards Manchester City. Well, it's now 2 goals in 2 minutes for Manchester City, and they're on the cusp of being crowned Premier League champions. They'll need one more win if they can see this one out. It's Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 2. Ferran Torres with City's second goal. Congested in the middle of the park. Aguero got a touch. Sterling got a touch. Then the move broke down, but it fell to Torres, who picked the ball up and using his left foot curled it beyond Gaeta from the edge of the penalty area, through a defender's legs. Gaeta at full stretch couldn't keep it out, and just a minute after Aguero had opened the scoring, Ferran Torres seemingly puts the game to bed. It's now Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 2. Yeah, and it seemingly is all over now. Palace are making a change. Jeffrey Schlupp has been sent on for Riedewald. So a bit more attacking influence in the Palace ranks now. But seemingly now this game has taken a big shift towards Manchester City. The Premier League leaders could be going 13 points clear. Their nearest rivals, Manchester United, would have a game in hand, but it's going to be a big gap to try and close down in the 5 games that would remain for United. As Benteke tries to win a header, it breaks the way of Fernandinho. He flips it to Cancelo. City's defence has been very secure today, it must be said. Palace have asked a couple of questions, but Zaha's got no change at all out of Cancelo, and he's moved across to Mendy, and he's now been sent back towards the middle. So they're trying everything really to get him in the game. Zaha, he's not been an influence. When your star man isn't performing for a team like Palace, it's very hard. City have 1 or 2 players who can step things up, as we've seen from Aguero today, we've seen from Torres today, turning up to this game and having a big effect with that second goal. Here's Laporte, who's passed to Mendy, started the move for the first goal. He finds Aguero dropping off the front. Aguero works it wide to Jesus, nice feet from the Brazilian, and sent back towards Rodri. And then switched out to the right. Cancelo in bags of space, takes on Schlupp, goes back inside now and finds Fernandinho. Fernandinho square to Rodri. He passes towards Mendy, who's very narrow. Aguero's offering the width now on the left, but he's coming in on his right foot. Back to Rodri. Mendy now's moved out to that widest position on the left, but he's ignored by Rodri, who finds Fernandinho. They try right again now, chipping it in towards Cancelo, but Mitchell got across. Now it's played back to the full-back, who sends it down the line. Up towards Benteke's chest, taken really well there by the Belgian, knocked back towards Eze. In fact, it's Schlupp who takes over. Here's Zaha, back to Mitchell. And then all the way back to Milivojevic. Zaha inside his own half, tries to thread it through, but Benteke just slipped as he was making his run, and City recover and have possession just in front of their own penalty area. Here's Mendy again. Good first time ball to Jesus, on towards Sterling. Sterling wriggles around the defender. Sterling with a shot from an acute angle, comes off the post, comes back towards Ferran Torres, who drives it close towards the far post, and there's nobody there in white for City. But Raheem Sterling denied by the foot of the post. His shot beat Vicente Gaeta, as it was threaded through to him by Jesus. He scampered past Scott Dan using his pace and his agility, but the shot he couldn't squeeze just in that tight gap at the near post underneath Gaeta, and the post was there to save Palace. So it looks like Palace will be suffering another defeat unless they can turn this one around. Like I say, Roy Hodgson does have options on the bench. Jean-Philippe Mateta, Jordan Ayew, Michy Batshuayi, all strikers who could be required to come on now. But Scott Dan gives it away to Rodri. Rodri advances towards the edge of the box, plays it wide to the left. Cross goes in from Jesus. It's deflected behind for a City corner off Kouyaté. It looks like Alexander Zinchenko is going to come on for City shortly. He's going to be their first change, or the first of a potential double change maybe. Will this be for Mendy, or will it be in midfield maybe? Sergio Aguero, on a rare Premier League start for him today, has got the opening goal. City have doubled their lead since then. They're looking for a third now as a corner's swept in towards the far post, and it's headed behind for another corner by Joel Ward. Just got up there ahead of Rodri, who was lurking. Well tracked, though, by Ward. So Ferran Torres will take this latest City corner. He the scorer of City's second goal. This one is right-footed towards the far post, headed down into the ground. Chance for Sterling. It's smuggled away and it's cleared off the line from Aymeric Laporte's shot. I think Gaeta got a touch to that. So did Kouyaté, and it's behind for another corner. Well, Sterling was trying to get some kind of contact in from close range. Laporte was lurking, and his shot was saved brilliantly by Gaeta. It wasn't Kouyaté's block at all, I don't think. Benteke is now back defending another corner. Torres it is who takes this one. Lifted high towards the back post, headed away by Benteke. And now Aguero sends it back inside to Jesus. Cancelo moved across to Fernandinho. Down the right they come with Torres again, coming in field past Mitchell, linking up with Rodri. Rodri works it back to Fernandinho. Palace really chasing shadows at the moment. City working it across the pitch, but given away by Cancelo to Zaha. He's got Benteke ahead of him. The pass is behind the Belgian, who can't quite gather it in. And it's picked up by Fernandinho. 25 minutes to go. This game looks all over, really, doesn't it? Those 2 goals in the space of a couple of minutes, changing the picture, really. Big style. City just playing a bit of keep ball at the moment. Zinchenko waiting to come on at the next opportunity, getting some instructions from Pep Guardiola. This could be about resting legs for that semi-final second leg at home to PSG. Here's Aguero again. Takes it in traffic, moves it on. Palace close ranks and get it away through Schlupp. Here's Townsend turning back to Jeffrey Schlupp. And then Gaeta to knock it away. Headed down by Benteke towards the onrushing Ward, but he's lost it to Mendy. Mendy's cross hits Jesus in the chest, who goes down poleaxed, and the referee stopped the play here. I think the ball hit him in the head. The referee stopped the play, and he can make the change now. Manchester City and Pep Guardiola is sending on Zinchenko for still don't know. Cameras haven't told us. For Fernandinho. Midway through the second half at Selhurst Park, it looks all over. City have stepped it up big style to take those Midway through the second half at Selhurst Park, where it's still Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 2. City stepping it up big time with those 2 goals in 2 minutes to get themselves into a position where now they can start making changes. Alexander Zinchenko has been sent on by Pep Guardiola in place of Fernandinho. I'm sure that's with one eye on the semi-final next week, midweek, the second leg of their Champions League semi-final. And Christian Benteke is now also being replaced by Roy Hodgson after a fairly ineffectual afternoon. And Jean-Philippe Mateta, the on-loan Frenchman, comes on to replace him. Also, Hodgson sent on Jeffrey Schlupp for Jeffrey Riedewald just after City's second goal. That goal from Ferran Torres has opened up a 2-goal cushion and seemingly put City in a very commanding position. They've also hit the woodwork as well through Sterling, who wriggled away from Scott Dan and struck the inside of the post after beating Vicente Gaeta, but it just isn't really going in for Raheem Sterling at the moment. And City has another good chance as well when Ferran Torres' corner wasn't cleared and Laporte saw it cleared off the line by either Kouyaté or an outstretched dive from Gaeta. It's still Palace 0, City 2. City playing it away to the left-hand side now for Mendy. Here's Ake. And now Zinchenko. Zinchenko trying to pick out Mendy. Volley crossing towards Aguero. Aguero takes it really well. Then he can't get past Kouyaté, who just stands firm in the tackle. And it's slammed away by Ward up towards new man Mateta. But again, he's a bit isolated, rather like Benteke was at times. And City have the ball again. Now here's Cancelo. Chests it. Rolls it back to Ake. Zinchenko has come on in midfield for Fernandinho. Trying to play that pivot role alongside Rodri. That might be a role which he grows into for City. You know, Guardiola's got a lot of time for Zinchenko, and he's a bit of a jack of all trades, really. A winger turned fullback, and now central midfielder today. Sterling, back to Rodri. Back to Ake, and now Laporte and Ake swapping passes. It's all possession for the visitors at the moment. Pep Guardiola's side. Striding towards their latest Premier League title triumph. It'll be the second of Guardiola's reign in Manchester. Now played out towards Mendy. Knocks it back. Ball is pinged beautifully by Laporte out towards Jesus. Jesus on his right foot goes outside the defender, tries to get a shot in. Mitchell did really well. Tariq Mitchell stops the shot, blocks it, and it manages to get the ball away to Zaha as well on the potential counter-attack. And now it's with Eze. Eze through the centre. Mateta holds his run. It goes wide to Schlupp instead. He's got Townsend pointing where he wants it. He's slow to give it. But Townsend does eventually receive the ball, comes inside on his left foot, now finds Eze 25 yards out wide to Zaha. Zaha, big chance here on his right foot, tries to curl it. Good skill to get past Cancelo, across towards the far post. Still a chance for Palace, maybe, if Schlupp can get the shot away. Schlupp's effort straight at goalkeeper Ederson, who flops on the ball, and the chance goes begging. But if Palace were to score next, there would still be a match on our hands here at the moment. It looks like City are cruising, but Schlupp has just given us a bit of a warning there, given City a warning, but they're still in a game. Can't be any showboating, and they're not suggesting there was any showboating from City prior to that attack. As Laporte finds Zinchenko inside, back to Rodri. His pass directed now to Cancelo on the right. Waits for Zaha to close him down, knocks it back to Ake. Laporte again. He finds Rodri on the halfway line. Switched across to Cancelo again, who's finding that bit of room. Aguero stood right next to him. Gets the short pass and plays it inside to Zinchenko, the Ukrainian. Swapping passes with Rodri. Only his second booking this season for Sheku Kouyaté, even though he's played quite a few games. Decent record that, but I still get the feeling he's not quite a Premier League quality central defender. He's more of a sort of still a converted midfielder in my eyes. He's played a lot of games at centre-back this season, Kouyaté. That could be one position which Palace look to upgrade in the summer. So free kick to City. Zinchenko and Sterling over it. They could really enjoy themselves here, because they wouldn't usually be front of the queue for a Manchester City free kick with the likes of Kevin De Bruyne and Riyad Mahrez on the pitch, but they're not there today, so it's going to be one of these two to take it, Zinchenko or Sterling. Looks like Sterling's the favourite here. Got a great goal scoring record against Palace. Can he slam in a free kick? Three-man wall, steps up, Sterling hits it, and it's high, wide and handsome. Not so handsome, actually. High, wide and ugly from Raheem Sterling. Got the City captain armband on now after Fernandinho went off. Townsend going off, and Jordan Ayew coming on now for Palace. Gaeta takes the free kick. Ball is contested in midfield, falls to Aguero. Nice back heel to Zinchenko. Zinchenko sets Sterling in here into the penalty area on his right foot, pulls the trigger and puts it wide. Raheem Sterling again missing the target with that one. Dear oh dear. Could be a talking point, this, as we head towards the Euros. Raheem Sterling's goal scoring form. Long goal kick taken by Gaeta again. Palace gather on the edge of the box. Here's Mitchell back to Zaha. Zaha chipping it forward beyond Mateta. Cleared but miscleared. Back to Schlupp. Schlupp trying to take it on beyond Zinchenko, but it falls kindly for Ederson. Dying embers of the match at Selhurst Park. Now still Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 0. Dying embers of the match at Selhurst Park, where it's still Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 2, and City now seemingly within 3 points of lifting another title. But Raheem Sterling's form will be a concern, not just for Pep Guardiola, who actually has been leaving him out of some of the bigger games recently, but probably for Gareth Southgate too. He's had 2 further chances since we last checked in. One a free kick, which he wouldn't usually be taking, but no Kevin De Bruyne or Riyad Mahrez on the pitch, so he had an opportunity to send a strike in from about 25 yards out, but it was high, wide and handsome, nowhere near Gaeta's goal. And moments later, when sent into the penalty area off a pass from substitute Alexander Zinchenko, his right-footed effort was wide of target. And again, he's stuck on 9 goals, hasn't scored a Premier League goal since February. It looks like it's going to be another blank afternoon for Raheem Sterling. It remains Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 2. Corner to Palace though. This one's whipped in towards the near post, headed away by Cancelo and then cleared away by Zinchenko at the back post. Free kick to Palace though. Long throw opportunity to Palace. There's the setup. Well, looks to be for a free kick position. They've played it wide. The referee didn't like him taking it so quickly, so they'll have to go again. So Eze's placed the ball. Only a couple of yards in from the right touchline. 6 to aim for in the penalty area for Palace, including substitutes Ayew and Mateta. It's a low ball into the near post area and it's slammed away by Jesus into the empty stands. All about game management now for City. 2 goals up looking to finish the job, but also suffer no injuries or any late scares in the game. Keep that clean sheet. Defensively, they have been pretty tight over the last 6 months or so. Ball is cleared away. And now Ayew trying to force the issue by the corner flag. Can't win a corner. Good defending from Jesus. Although he might have given away a corner there under pressure from Ayew. No, the referee says goal kick. Or maybe even a free kick for a foul by Ayew, who's all over the back of the Brazilian. Entering the final few minutes, then it remains 2-0. I think Aguero is going to last the full 90 today, and he's got man of the match for his sumptuous strike to set City on their way. I think I said before, it'd be his second Premier League title. It'll be his third Premier League title since he arrived at City, 2017-18 and 18-19. Both City titles won by Guardiola's team, one of them with a record points total. Now Ake finds the feet of Cancelo. City come down the left with Mendy. This game's all over, bar the shouting really. Zaha tries to close down Ederson, but City have comfortably got possession at the back now. Played forward into the run of Torres, who's stuck wide to the right. Torres taking on Mitchell. Just ferries it infield, has the support from Aguero. Aguero, very tight angle, drives a shot at the near post. It's saved by Gaeta. He wasn't being fooled. Aguero going for the near post there. The keeper blocked it off. Good play from Torres to pick him out. Aguero at pace. Great first touch. Second touch gave him the opportunity for the shot, but the angle was narrow. Still needed a good save from Gaeta at the near post for this corner. Well, only his second Premier League goal of the season today, but it's going to take City one step nearer the title. Torres has got a smile on his face as well. He got there second as he prepares to take this corner from the right. Sends it in towards the near post. It's gone all the way through to Sterling, who tries a shot. Ball deflects the way of Jesus from a tight angle, and he drives it into the stands. Did it take a deflection? I don't think so. The way the players are all heading back to the halfway line, that's going to be a goal kick. Gaeta hits it downfield. Flicked on by Mateta. Out towards Eze, but Cancelo beat him to it. Played a risky ball inside, but Laporte just stabbed it forward all the way through to Gaeta, who can pick it up on the edge of his penalty area. Rolls it out to Scott Dan. Milojevic. That's a nice pass over the top, looking for Zaha rather, but Zaha applauds the attempted ball, but didn't quite have the backspin, if you like, to give Zaha a chance, and it was all the way through to the keeper, who's biding his time before picking up his Ederson. Just a matter of seconds before we see the fourth official's board for the number of additional minutes added on. The amount of time added on, as this one's played away by Ederson to Rodri. He goes long out towards the left-hand side, looking for Sterling. Headed infield by Ward. Schlupp knocks it back. Kouyaté lays it off to Ward. Got 10 yards of space, and he looks in the channel for the ball towards the rather awkward-looking Mateta, but he got in a tangle with the City defender Laporte and gives away a free kick. 3 minutes of additional time is all we're going to get at the end of this one. It's been a walk in the park in the second half for the Premier League champions-elect Manchester City. Well, if this is Aguero's final time around in City colours at this ground, then what a career he's had at Manchester City. Premier League title winner no less than 4 times, including the epic finish of the 2011-12 season, which he scored the stoppage time winner against Queen's Park Rangers on the final day. And then this could be his 5th Premier League title. I think he'll have played enough games, won't he? Pretty sure he'll have got enough games under his belt for a medal. I think pretty much teams can give out medals to whoever they want now, but this is his 10th appearance of the season, 6th start, and he scored just 2 goals now. So he should get a 5th Premier League title winner's medal at the end of it all. It'll be the only time he's not hit double figures during his time at Manchester City, where he's regularly produced minimum 12 goals. That was in his 2nd season, he got only 12. It was slightly injury hit season, I think, as I recall. Got 16 last season as a player that was not always involved at all. 16 goals from 18 starts, only 2 this season from 4 starts and a few substitute appearances as well. Oh, sorry, 6 starts and a few substitute appearances. We're into the final minute of stoppage time here. City just been playing the ball around inside the Palace half, no real tackles going in. Jesus has it, tries to scamper forward and beats one challenge before it's a corner conceded there, I think, by Palace. Nope, the referee's giving it the other way, and it's going to be a goal kick. So time's almost up now for Palace in this one. Time's almost up for the title race. Manchester City going to be 13 points clear. Manchester United will have 5 games left. We'll need to win them all. 1 more win for City after this is enough to mathematically confirm it. Or defeat maybe for Manchester United tomorrow, as the ball's worked out towards Wilfried Zaha. Shot comes in from Milojevic, scrambled away by Ake. Referee puts the whistle to his lips and it's all over. It's all over at Selhurst Park. It's finished Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 2. City then now on the cusp of